really don't see a lot of people here. Okay. Here's the countdown.
How you like me now? Go ahead, Doc.
Hey, everybody. Well, welcome to Chance's Chat. Of course, I'm Doc G. I have Chance McFadden with us, and we have a special guest. I just want to let you guys know this may be for entertainment purposes, but it also may not be. Welcome to Chance's Chat.
We got special guest tonight. Betty. Hi, Betty. Special guest. She was one of our first guests when we started this show. Way back whenever it was, last year. And, okay, we know it's me. Yeah, it's Chance. Thanks. Okay.
And don't forget, we're on the Superstar Radio Network as well for 9 other radio stations that my friend has. My good friend, Ray Chest.
I want to talk to you guys about something before we have Annie come on, okay? She's going to do a recap, and then she's going to tell you where we're at. And this all has to do with everything. Remember, the RV information comes at the end of the show, because if you're not ready to listen to the entire show, then you don't need to listen to the RV updates. Okay. Since Debbie's not here, I'm going to give you the news real quick, okay? Everything you're seeing about what's going on in Venezuela, that's just for the normies, okay? Venezuela has already been settled. They're ready to go, okay? From what I understand, Brazil's ready to go, and bondholders are going today. And what else? Well, I've told you guys for a long time that it has been an ongoing thing where they've been rescuing children from dumps, okay? Well, and they've been doing it for a couple of years. It's been an ongoing thing. It hasn't stopped. It isn't, it's, and now they are releasing the information into mainstream media. Remember, it's been going on. The tunnels is, holy cow. We had that the other night, Annie. We had rain the other night. But anyway, the tunnels are now they're finding tunnels and everything in celebrities and high-profile individuals and, of course, members of Congress. And members of Congress, the House and the Senate, they're going bye-bye. Okay? They couldn't arrest them while Congress was in session. But they're not in session no more. They're going bye-bye. Mike Johnson, he'll be gone. All those clowns and bad actors that you see, they're gone. They're going to be gone. And I will tell you, I was approached by part of Tim Turner's group. And I'm sure Annie knows who Tim Turner is. And hi, Christy. I was approached by somebody associated with Tim Turner's group for the New Republic for the state of Iowa, and they were trying to recruit me as the temporary Secretary of State until the new elections could come in. Now, why would they want me? I mean, I'm a clown. Why would let's have Bozo the Clown be Secretary of State? Come on. But they must see the seriousness in my broadcast, because I'm done playing games. And we on the Telegram channel, we've had a bunch of guys that I thought were really solid guys and in the group and everything, we had to kick them out because they're just being, they're just being shirts. I won't say the bad word, but they're just a bunch of shirt heads. Okay, we had to kick them out. Some guys didn't deserve it, and we're trying to get them back on, but there's something going on with Telegram. There's something going on with the cell phones. There's something going on with the internet. There is something going on with satellite phones. Okay, everything's inconsistent, and we've had. My son will tell you we've had the internet go out 3 times in the last week, and not for a couple hours. It's been more like a couple days. Jerry, I've been meaning to call you. I'm going to call you tomorrow. Okay, that's my brother Jerry in PA. Okay, he's the best. But I got something I want to talk to you guys about. It's very important to me. Okay, HamiltonRadio.net has been in business for 28 years. Okay, as long as the internet has existed, there's been HamiltonRadio.net. And my friend Gene, the producer of this show, and my co-host, and the co-host of many other shows, who has won award after award, is having the same kind of problems I'm having. So tonight's show, all of your donations, whether it be for RV protocol packages, all your donations are going to be shuffled over to him, or you can donate to him directly. Now, if you don't think it's not important to keep this station going, no HamiltonRadio.net, no chance. Okay? Because if this station goes down, I'm going to shut down my Telegram pages too. Okay? I'm taking this serious. I want you to take it serious. I have some people out there who have resources. And if you like listening to me and I appreciate you supporting me, and you want the real, the truthful intel, and you want somebody who truthfully loves you, then support this station tonight. I'd like to see a minimum $20 donation from everybody. Okay. I know just don't even argue with me. I know we got a minimum of 1,000 people on right now. And by the end of the broadcast, there's probably going to be 4,000 people. If everybody give $20, this station would be good for the next 3 or 4 months. And that's going to get us through the transitional period. Okay. Now, I would almost slipped up and almost give you the RV update, but then we would have lost half of you guys. So the RV update is coming at the end of the show in the last 5 minutes. The only way you're going to get it is to stick around. Okay. So just remember, the normies are being manipulated with the Venezuela news. And I will agree with, I don't listen to Charlie Ward, but I will tell you one thing about Charlie Ward, who's not the real Charlie Ward anyway, but he's always saying that Q says they're saving Israel for last. Boy, oh boy, I'm telling you, I got a map the other day, and if you saw the tunnel work that's going on in Israel, so all the surrounding countries, you'd puke. What are they using those for? They're using it for human trafficking. They're kidnapping children, and they're kidnapping women, and they're impregnating them underground, and they're having babies, and they're making clones, and this will be the final straw. What happens when they're ready to release it? This is the final straw for Israel. Okay, as you all know, Netanyahu, the poster boy, who doesn't even really legally, according to international law, have any power, but there he is, or as I would like to say, there he isn't, because he's wearing a mask too. Okay, that whole thing was set up. They all know who the real Trump is. They all know who the real president is. They know who the real commander in chief is. And I laughed my butt off when I saw the picture of the new Biden, the new Brandon. All right. Hey, Jody Joy. Hi. Hi, Jody. Yeah, please like this video. The liking it won't help us make any money because we do not monetize this channel. The reason we don't monetize this channel is because that's cable guy money, okay? Can I send you your Cash App? Yes, you can. Hang on, we're going to put it up right now. This is the Cash App for the station. Betty, thank you so much. I'm just going to tell you, I have big plans for Hamilton Radio. And Doc will be working directly with me and after the event, after the recreational vehicle. So what I'm asking you to do is to help us get by for now, okay? Betty, thank you so much. Can I send you your Cash App? You are wonderful. Thank you. Now, I'm very inundated with legal and lawful work. Cash App is $Doc, DOCG1. So it's $Doc G1. Okay, that's the Cash App. We're gonna leave that up there for a while, Doc. Now listen, guys. Here's what's going on. When Annie comes on here, you are going to realize she's going to give you a recap, and she is going to tell you how much she has come. She has come a long road. It's been a long road to hoe, and how I'm going to tell you how the story ends. She calls herself Wisconsin Annie. I'm going to call her Dreamboat Annie. Okay, after the Heart song, because I'm going to tell you, Dreamboat Annie. Here's what's going to happen. Okay, what's going to happen is you're going to get your trailer park back. You're going to be very liquid, and you are going to go back doing what you did before you got in this mess. And not only that, but you're going to continue being the humanitarian that you are and fighting for the republic and fighting for the rights of people. Thank you so much, Christy Sue. God bless you, honey. And if you order RV protocol papers from me, I'll forward the money on over to Doc G, and that's $50 Cash App or Zelle, 319-561-0064. So Annie, I don't see you up on the screen. Is she on the screen?
Oh, she left. She's having some thunderstorms and stuff, she says.
Oh God, I hope she can come on, because everything that we want to happen good for Annie is starting to happen. Now, let's talk about, she's in Wisconsin, so she will be talking about Wisconsin, but let's talk about what's going on in Houston, Texas. Well, I talked about this on my Telegram shows. Yeah, I know, Annie, Telegram is not trustworthy. I know there's too many trolls, but I have a couple of fantastic administrators. Hey, you guys in Terra, and they are, they're weeding out the bad guys. I'm telling you, they're doing a heck of a job. And I will not allow any graphic photos on my page. My page is private. You have to get in, you have to have an invitation from me or an administrator. And it's not, but there's a bunch of trolls on there. We've gotten rid of them. Our numbers have dropped from 1,200 to about 800. But that's okay. I'd rather have 800 really fantastic people than 1,200 questionable people, if you know what I mean. Okay. So, Annie, as soon as you want to log back in, you could come on. And in the meantime, I have no problem running my mouth because it seems to be something that I have no problem doing, diarrhea of the mouth, right? No, I'm not a potty mouth. Okay. Doc G147. Okay. Dollar sign.
That's not me.
That's not him, Deanne. That's not him. It's dollar sign Doc DOCG1 on Cash App. Doc G147 is not it. Okay.
Please don't send it there.
Yeah, please don't send it to him. And I have to activate a new card. Oh, that's fine. Thanks, Jerry. I really appreciate it.
Jerry.
I found Jerry a while back. Lady Elaine, I have tried to get you back on. Okay, I can't even find where you. I'll do. Remind me. Send me an email and remind me, and I'll get back on that. Okay, because I don't see anything that you may have done that got kicked off, but sometimes people think it's important to share a post and it may have something bad in it. And well, okay, you send it to my Cash App, I'll send it over to him.
You can send it to his. That's fine.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you, honey. I really appreciate it. Muggsy, I know you're listening. Not Sam Muggsy, but Muggsy. You know who you are. You're the lady that sent me the money on Wise. Please send a donation.
Yes.
I know you. I know you want to. Yes, it has Doc's picture on it. I know you have a position that you can do that, and if you could send some funds, thank you, Christy Sue. I'll move it over to him. But not Sam Muggsy. I'm not talking to Sam Muggsy. I'm talking to Muggsy, my friend on Facebook. So I know you're listening. Please send Doc $50. It would help so much. Okay. And I want you to be safe on your trip next week. And you guys got to remember, okay, Kathy Moore, you were banned too for supporting another member asking a question. Okay. Send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com and I'll see what I can do. I will talk to the administrators and we'll see about getting you back on. Okay. The administrators have an incredible job to do, and I don't have any money to pay them. They're volunteering, so they're trying to use their discernment when they kick somebody off. That now I know they kicked off Bearded Patriot the other day, and he deserved it because he was just being a jerk. Okay, I reported something this similar to what TNT Tony said, and so all of a sudden I'm getting my intel from TNT Tony. No, I didn't get my intel from TNT Tony. I don't listen to these other guys. Listen, I don't have time. My son's sitting over here and he has heart problems. He has diabetes. He's had 4 strokes and 5 heart attacks. He's got issues. Okay. I am doing my best to take care of him. I got to be here most of the day. Today I had to leave for a while, but I hurried back as fast as I could. Okay. I got a wife in the nursing home and I got 7 dogs that love me. Hey, so I get it, Janet, I get it. Okay. Is not Wisconsin Annie. Yeah, that's right. Go ahead and come on, Wisconsin Annie, if you can. I'm treading water right now.
I'm here, brother. I'm here for you.
Yeah, I know you are. Also, let's talk about something else we're planning for HamiltonRadio.net. Doc and I are organizing right now. We were talking about it before the show started. We are talking about an online radio auction. There's Wisconsin Annie. We're going to be talking about an online radio auction, and we will have it ready by the end of the month. So you can actually buy a guitar that I have donated for the radio auction. You can pay whatever you want to pay for it. High bidder wins, and I ship it to you for free. Okay? Wisconsin Annie, are you ready, dear? Turn your microphone on and let's see that pretty face of yours.
She's having issues, she says.
Uh-oh. I want to give a special shout out to Muggsy tonight. I want to give a special shout out to Maria number 1. A special shout out to everybody who has made donations this week. I want to make a special shout out to my friend Jerry, who have been dying to call you all week, brother, but I have been swamped. Don,
Thank you.
wow, Don, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Holy smokes, you guys, you're the best.
We love
All
you.
right.
Oh my God, we love you.
Oh my God. I can feel the love right now. I really can.
I do too.
And it's crazy. And there's Mark Scott. Oh, Mark. There's Mark. Mark and I talked for a long time yesterday. This guy is a patriot, and he's learning. He's learning about a lot of things. I got him partially enlightened yesterday in our 1 hour phone call. If you could make a $10 donation, Mark, to this station, even without my camera on, it's okay. Well, if you just want to come, we'll hold on for you, okay? But Mark, if you want to go ahead and just make a $10 donation to the station by Cash App, that would be great. I'm going to ask everybody for donations for the stations tonight because, listen, I'm going to tell you what. I do not work in the marketing department, okay? But I got 4 different clients that stuck with the station and got a super deal on advertising rates for 4 months. And that's what carried the station through, okay? I hope they've gotten some good response on the advertisement that they've got on HamiltonRadio.net. But remember, HamiltonRadio.net is the largest internet radio station in the world. And Wisconsin Annie, turn your mic on and let's go.
I don't know if she can hear us.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay! All right. Hopefully the connection holds. If it drops, I will get back on as quickly as I can. But it's storming like a you-know-what here in northeastern Wisconsin. And you know what storms mean? That could be cover for some good guy operations, and I just love it. Yeah, so I've been through a lot of abuse by our tyrannical government, and 10, 20, 30, 40, I've really been bucking the system all my life when you really come right down to it. But had the stuff not happened to me starting in 2015 and then hard starting in 2020 when Governor Evers shut down our state, I would have had no idea just how bad the corruption really was. And it's kind of like with General Flynn, when he talks on his movie. If people haven't seen that yet, please go and watch it. You can download it on multiple platforms right now. It made me cry. As a soldier, I'm a veteran, Army. Flynn has gone through, and so many other Americans have gone through. Like I just listened to 2 interviews the last couple of days with Eric Molitor from Michigan, and he was one of the several like patriot guys, just good old boys, pick up trucks and and their guns and hunting and fishing and loving every day. He was one of the several guys accused of trying to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan. And he's coming out of his lawfare right now. I'm trying to make contact with him so I can help him get a federal civil complaint form to the Trump-appointed justice in Michigan. And I found a way in. I found a few doorways that opened, and you could actually walk through it and make things happen. And I have 4 federal complaints going right now. One of our Trump-appointed justices is Keith Alexander at the U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District, Wisconsin, at Milwaukee. He's an in, and this comes under President Trump's Executive Order 13844. When Trump says that they're so corrupt, it's true. It's very true. Every elected officer, everyone that was in a public seat of trust, failed me as an American woman, a single mother of 3 beautiful children. They failed me, a veteran, and I just, and they messed with the wrong woman. So I'm a very good researcher, and I've done a lot of work, and I found the doors to bring us freedom once the justice comes. So the U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Keith Alexander, his office, it's the criminal division in Milwaukee. They are very busy right now, just with the cases I've sent to them. And then also for us to stand up our new government. Everybody that's on this call right now should be able to attest that you are witnessing firsthand controlled demolition of our old government, the New World Order, which really stood up back in 1770.
Well, she dropped out. The corruption is phenomenal, and Annie has been a true patriot to the Republic and to our nation by fighting. And she's a perfect example of somebody who studies, who researches, and then gets her hands dirty and gets in there and mixes it up. So what I want you to do is use her as an example. Don't be scared to go in there and mix it up and find out and ask questions. I'm experiencing a thing with the original incorporation papers for the city of Fort Madison, and they won't give them to me. So what I'm going to have to do is, I think I'm going to have to do a lawsuit and then against the city, and then I'm going to have to file a Freedom of Information Act document within the lawsuit, and maybe even move it over federal level, because there's something in those incorporation papers that aren't right. All these corporations are absolutely corrupt. They're all of them. Every one of these, they're operating as a for-profit corporation, and the courts are operating as a gambling casino license. If you go into their Dun and Bradstreet and look that up, so it's all $Docg G1. That is correct, Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. After I talked to Mark yesterday, he's having problems down in Missouri with, imagine, the corporate government trying to, I'll just say this, shortchange him on the value of his assets. And when I talked to you yesterday, Mark, I had nothing but positive vibes. So this is the kind of, okay, Mark's got problems. Everybody I know has problems. Doc MH in Ohio has problems. Lady down in Florida, she has problems. Lady in Des Moines, she has problems. I'm helping so many people, and I get absolutely exhausted. I can only do so much a day, and that's why I've decided to put together the Law Dogs after the recreational vehicle hits. I'm going to put together the Law Dogs, and then I'm going to hire a bunch of paralegals, and I'm going to teach them. Right. Manifesting numbers 520-7418. Manifest your completion. Manifest your reality. Manifest your assets. Manifest your dollars. 520-7418. We're manifesting tonight for Hamilton Radio. That's who we're manifesting for. Okay. I've been up since real early this morning, and I just want to tell you guys, I'm having phone problems too. So if you're having phone problems, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. I paid T-Mobile to port my wife's phone over to them because of the $15 a month senior fee, and boy, oh boy, they dropped the ball. So I got to be on the phone for another hour tomorrow, and I'm just.
I know. I've done that before.
But I will be so glad. I will be so glad when the internet is free. I'll be glad when The cell phones are free. There won't be no more cell phone carriers. They're all going to be Q phones, okay? And they'll be hooked up all the time. When you buy it, it'll be loaded. You do something. You put your SIM card in, go to town, okay? Gosh, we're hoping Annie comes back in. Of course, the cable guys probably put the storm in Wisconsin. Here she comes. She's back.
Let's see if she hears us.
Go ahead, Annie. Go ahead, Annie.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Were you able to hear anything that I said before it cut out?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's been an interesting journey for me personally and professionally. It's been a long journey, but I know the end is in sight, and we're very close to completely breaking through that final barrier. And as you watch live the controlled destruction or controlled demolition of our old government, the old guard, the new world order, which really stood up in 1776, United States got hijacked right away. And as Chance mentioned, the corporation, we went from being the United, States, little u, little s, of America, to being the United States Corporation. And there's names out there, but basically our government's been hijacked for 150 plus years. So I found a few paths out, found the path to freedom, and I found the path to justice. So there's a lot of things happening in northeastern Wisconsin, and it makes me happy when I read the headlines in the Wisconsin State Journal and I see so much good. And if you know how to read it, you can see that it's Nasara, which gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. But, have faith, everybody. We're at the local level. The good guys are at the local level. They're probably wearing civilian clothes. They look just like you and me. They may have colored hair and rainbow flags in your classrooms, but they're probably the good guys at this point. And the bad guy networks have been infiltrated by the good guys starting in 2017. The law enforcement, the sheriff's departments, police departments, after the Ferguson report came out in 2019, the good guy Department of Justice, which I would refer to Kash Patel and Sidney Powell and other people, they started retraining the cops that were good and maybe, they're just doing their job, but they don't understand that it's their job to protect us from tyranny. And to make sure that our inherent rights, the 10 that are listed on the Bill of Rights, that's their job, is to protect those rights. And they're the ones that have become the abusers and the domestic violence men and women out on the street. So we're flipping it from a police nation back to the de jure, where it is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Chance had mentioned a guy named Tim Turner. He was actually a deep state agent. This started happening around 2008, 2009. A bunch of states actually listened. This may have been one of the radio stations. They would listen to radio talk shows. The Tea Parties were kind of starting up at that point. A lot of people, maybe libertarians, people that maybe didn't even really get involved in politics, but they could see that Obama was wrong and he was doing our country wrong. And there was a lot of really good radio stations out there that were spreading the truth and not this propaganda crap that you're seeing and hearing and reading. It's poisoning our brain and trying to steal our consciousness, the thought police. But there was some really good radio stations back in, really since I came on air. And the people were starting to gather. They were starting to congregate around these radio stations so that they could learn the truth. And people are asking, similar like what we're doing today, well, what can I do? What can I do? It just seems all doom and gloom. And if it's this corrupt, what can I do? Well, the people back then, they started meeting. They're like, oh, well, we're going to go to this law conference in New York. And the bunch of them went. And I really have asked a question. If President Trump, Donald J. Trump used to teach people how to break out of the matrix and free yourselves from the taxes, because the 16th Amendment was never ratified. And Donald J. Trump, 30, 40, 50 years ago, he was actually teaching people common law and contract law and how to beat them at their own game. And so I have a question out, and I don't know if that'll get answered or not, but there was 3 guys that went from Michigan to this law conference in New York back in like 2008, 2009, 2010 timeframe. And they got together after this conference, and they decided that instead of, being with this Tim Turner group, it was called the Nation Project at the time. And then Tim Turner decided to spin off a little bit, and he basically took the members that he had with his group, and he did the same thing the banks do, and he converted them by instruments unknown. And by the way, our bodies, us, we're the security instruments. And they take your name or your social security number, or your any number really, your birth certificate, and they convert it into bonds or stock, and they trade us on the stock market. And that's what this group, the Nation Project, was trying to get away from, so that we were no longer human chattel. And here's this guy, Tim Turner, who I guess he was like a leader type. People kind of followed him, but he was very maybe overbearing, or he was leading people off in the wrong direction, and people started waking up to it. And so the guys from Michigan decided to pull away from that group. A lot of states involved in the Nation Project: Pennsylvania, New York, Texas, Florida. I've seen a lot of different states on what I would call the original documents. But the Michigan pulled away, and they just decided to keep going with what they knew to be true, get us back to God's laws. There's only 10 of them. It's not hard. And we don't need these garage fulls of codes and statutes and unlawful laws that are illegal and unconstitutional and unethical and unsafe. So we have this group of legislators that are writing all these unlawful laws. I'm going to come back to that. So the 3 guys from Michigan, they called it the Michigan de Jure General Drill Assembly, and they settled Michigan through a series of, they went through a lot of procedures, a lot of documents, a lot of research, but they settled Michigan in 2010. And at that time, they had all of their counties also settled. So they came in very strong. But you have to realize that Deep State does not want we the people to regain our sovereignty. They don't want us to be free. We're their slaves. They work us to death in taxes from cradle to grave, and steal all the resources from Earth. And that's a whole nother issue. And I'm sure your audience would be aware of what's happening up in Antarctica. But the Michigan de Jure basically is the blue book for what we the people really have to do. There's a lot of groups out there. The histories, the education is good, with the David Lester Strait and even Anna Von Ditz and other people, other assemblies that are starting to stand up, and the people they're waking up, and they're learning the true history. They're learning about the U.S. corporation. They're learning that, Abe Lincoln may not have been the hero that we thought he was all these years, and that the bankers are the ones that start the wars. And, they don't care who wins. They'll fund both sides. And because they're Satanists, it's human sacrifice. So the more blood and gore, the better for them. They get off on that kind of stuff. It's gross. And we don't think like that. Our God is great creator. He made everything. And their God is the complete opposite. So we really do have to draw that line in the sand and figure out what side you're going to be on, because that's where we're at right now, is you got to decide. And we've seen enough play out, especially since 2020 with this COVID fraud, that you should be able to identify people on your village board, your city boards, your town boards, your school boards, your county boards. You should know them by name at this point, who your communists are, who your Marxists are, and who your pedophiles are. You should know them by name and call them out. Call that light in and call them out by name, and get a few people together in your county and just start getting together and coming up with your list of grievances. What's going on in your county? What could be done better? Who's making it difficult? Who is sitting on the board that has decided to vote a solar farm in onto your county? Who is the one that decided to sell the land to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where they own the bulk of the farmland in Wisconsin? Who did all these things? And the justice system, well, who sat on the committees for the judicial committee? Who sits on the boards of review? Who sits on the oversight committees? Start digging at your local level. And you don't even need to be focused at the national level at this point. Just look at your own hometown and your own village, and your eyes will open very quickly, especially if you have seen the pattern on the national level. You take that same pattern and apply it to what's going on in your village, your town, your city, your county, because it's there too. Once you see that pattern, you can't unsee it.
Annie, I'm gonna add something to what you're saying there. I was approached. I've said this on the show before, but I wanted to communicate this with you personally. I had a round last year with the city police, and I had 21 moving violations. And I went into court and I asked for a jury trial. Long story short, they dropped all the charges with the exception of 2 charges which weren't moving violations. And I paid those fines off over the next few months. And then I went to the police chief of police, who used to be a constitutional sheriff in a different county, okay? Not in Iowa, but in a different state. And I'm sure by now he knows who stinks in this town, just like I do. But I told him about a drug ring. I told him about a couple other things that I knew about. I used to work for the Illinois Bureau of Investigation, so it seems like this stuff just follows me around. But anyway, he took me outside where nobody could hear, and he says, Chance, he said, this county and this city is about ready to go into a very, very dark place. And I said, I know all about it. I said, do you listen to my shows? He says, no. But he says, I know you know all about it. And he says, there's only going to be 2 people in this county that's going to help keep the people together. And one of them's you and the other's me. Now, if I'm standing up there next to the chief of police trying to get a message out, that's going to be a very powerful thing, not only for me, but it'll be a very powerful thing for we the people, because I'm just a guitar hack from Industry, Illinois. You know, I'm nobody special, okay? But if he said that to me, I about fell over when he said it. There's only 2 people, and one of them's you and the other one's me. I about fell over. Is everybody in this county asleep? That's what I said to him, and he says, yes, they are. And they're more concerned with their liberties than their freedoms. And I think you've experienced that too, Annie. Go ahead.
Yes. I think there's a lot of people wearing masks at the local level and body doubles. And I say this because, like, our DA, he's corrupt and he's directly involved in the human sex child trafficking in our area. He got the COVID last summer, I guess. And then in November, he got really, really sick and he was out of work. Like his trials and hearings were pushed back. And then one of the women can't, and then by this time I'm unlawfully incarcerated again. So I know from the ladies that were coming back from their court appearances that Greg Parker, they were told by the public defender that Greg Parker was going to be out indefinitely. And I hooted and hollered and I was like, yes, they took him out. So that was good because I have one of my federal criminal complaints is against Gregory Parker, the DA for Menominee-Shawano County, and for prosecutorial misconduct and a bunch of other stuff. But that made me very happy. So like for 5 weeks, I think, he was not there. And so I was kind of waiting for the appointed DA by the continuity of government. Our county, if it's below, I think 50,000, there's a special prosecutor that's assigned already for the continuity of government. So I was kind of waiting to see who that man or woman would be. And our DA was out for like 5 weeks. And then all of a sudden, he was back in court. And one of the other ladies that I was in the clink with, she came back and she was excited because whatever her hearing was, it went in her favor, and she was going to be getting out soon. And the public defender from a different county that was representing her said that, wow, Greg Parker, I've been doing this for about 20, 30 years, and he seems like a completely different person to me. And I just started laughing because he probably was. So, and then just last week, the current sheriff that I have, not the constitutionally sound one, that the last time I was on your show, Adam Bieber, he's one of the 4 sheriffs in Wisconsin. We have 72 sheriffs. 4 sheriffs had enough personal courage to write a memo to Governor Evers back in 2020 to say that they would not enforce his mask mandate because they felt there was a infringement on their personal liberties. Okay, so that sheriff got honeypotted. He's still working behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure. But the guy that replaced him is dirty, and he was the deputy at the time who called out drones to come and hunt me down on my own private property, 155 acres, for traffic violations, where I'm wrong. And at some point, my story will get out. But I'm amazed that our government has done so many criminal acts to we the people. And so we the people, we have to be brave, and we have to stand up, and we need to join at the local level. So we have the de jure assemblies. Shawano County in Wisconsin is the only county that is settled right now. All you need is 13 people. It's about 3 hours. If you're well educated and self-read, then, and if you know about the birth certificate fraud and the corporations and all this, then you're already way ahead of the normies they're clueless on this stuff. And we need smart people to come forward. We need 13 people. There's a Declaration of Independence. It's an individual document. The Michigan de jure took the original Declaration of Independence, which only included the 55 original signers. So they made it into a perpetual document to include anybody who from the past, the present, or in the future. So the Declaration of Independence includes everyone. And so it's a 1-page document. You read that. If you cannot comprehend that and what it means, then you're not one that we really want in the assembly. We need good people. We need people that are educated, people that are go-getters, people that are not afraid, people that believe in God. You know, if you believe in God, then you have nothing to fear because God's got this. He's guiding me right now.
Exactly.
So, yes. And, then there's a Declaration of Unalienable Rights that if you don't know what your rights are, then you don't have them. And I can tell you that with 100% certainty, we have no rights. They have been completely stripped from us over the years with all these pieces of legislators that we have. And in Wisconsin, we have this guy called Robin Voss. He's one of the top criminal cartel members. He is our Speaker of the House, a rhino, and very bad. He's one of the worst of the worst. He's going to tie in with Paul Ryan and Mike Pence and Nikki Haley and a bunch of other miscreants. And he was the president, and he's now the vice president of the National Association of Legislators, which means he controls over 7,000 legislators. So all these Republicans or Democrats or independents, whoever you think you're voting for, none of that crap matters. Because all the seats are owned by the United Nations, which are owned by the International Monetary Fund, the bankers. The bankers own it, and it goes back to the Vatican. Now, the Vatican is bankrupt. The Crown is bankrupt. And, like President Trump, one of the first 3 executive orders that he signed when he first came into office in 2017 was 13818, 13838. If you are involved in serious human trafficking or serious civil rights violations, your assets and your property will be seized. And that is also happening at local level, or at least at state level. If you look at your state headlines or your county headlines in your newspaper, it is going to show you what the good guys are doing. You just got to read into it a little bit. But there's all kinds of good things happening right now. Like, for example, the Boy Scouts of America, that's a child trafficking network. In
Right.
Wisconsin and Michigan, there's
So
12
Girl
Boy
Scouts. Those are Girl Scouts.
Right. And they're going back to the original property holder. So in Waukesha County, one of those Boy Scouts of America camp, it was several hundred acres, that went back to the Potawatomi tribe. So there are very big things happening. You got to have patience and have faith, because we are, yes, I know that. And that's ridiculous too. It's just like, the operation of law. Every able-bodied male from 15 to 45 is supposed to be proficient in their arms of choice. That's the law. So
That's a beautiful law, by the way. And I want to tell you that what 17 Quarters has put on the screen there is absolutely true. We the people have been victimized by the Admiralty courts. And if
Correct.
you get up and tell somebody you are sovereign or a state national, guess what you've just done in court? You just put a target right in the middle of your forehead, just like that. And the best way to fight them is by not saying that. Okay? Use their own statutes, codes, and ordinance against them. And I had it in front of me a few months ago, but I don't anymore. I should have memorized it, but man, I tell you what, I've been busy. But you do know, Annie, that the currency, the fiat currency, the Federal Reserve notes, were originally designed and ordered in law to only be used in Washington, D.C. and 100 miles outside of it. You knew about that, right?
Well, I know the fiat dollar it's not even worth the paper that it's printed on. So whether you want to throw it in your fire,
okay, I didn't know if you knew about the I didn't know if you knew about the history of it, but that's the history of it. It was 100 miles of Washington, D.C. And now they want us to pay fines. So I went in to pay my fine on my traffic fines that I was telling you about last year. And I said, well, here's a statute that says, these Federal Reserve notes are only good with 100 miles of the United States, within Washington, D.C. And I said, so we're in a different section of the United States. So how is it that you want paid? Oh, we want paid in Federal Reserve notes. I said, it's not legal. I said, look it up. Look up the code. So I said, the state's attorney's office itself is violating the law. And according to the Bible, the only true currency is gold and silver. So what are we doing here? I ask her, what are we doing here? Can I pay you in silver? No, we can't accept that. We only take Federal Reserve notes. I mean, they don't even know how to defend their own position. They're so stupid. So that's why it's very important, like Annie's saying, to get involved and be the people. And I'm not even going to try to get anybody involved around here, because I am the community nutball, and I know you got some of that too, Annie. And it's pretty bad when a former constitutional sheriff, it says to me, I'm the only one that can help this community besides him. That means he's come to the realization that everybody's an idiot in this county. Okay, Lee County, Iowa. Okay, and I've approached. Oh my God, Annie, I have approached a member of the Board of Supervisors, and he's a friend of mine. And his shop is 2 doors down. He's a heat and air conditioner guy, and he doesn't have a clue. I mean, he doesn't have a clue. And he says, well, what we got to do is this. I said, no, you don't understand. I said, Tom, you don't understand. You cannot fix a broken, destroyed system. The only way to fix it is to tear it all down and start all over again. And that's what you're seeing right now. And he says, well, I'll just have to see it to believe it. And I said, keep your eyes open. It's happening right now. And you are right, Annie. It is happening at a local level, but it's not publicized. Go ahead, Annie. Tell us some more.
Correct. And then, like, going back to the history on the de jure, Michigan General Drill Assembly back in 2010, they did a lot of research, and they went back in time basically to correct the errors. And they realized that one of the big errors was in 1861 when Congress, Lincoln was trying to get central banking and a bigger central government, and the South didn't want it because they were already prosperous. They had their plantations, they had their slave labor. I know there's controversy there. I get all that. The North was it was trying to do the banking for the Industrial Revolution so that they could become prosperous as well. So the bankers again were funding the South and the North, and their intent was to get America fighting each other, which they did succeed at, and it caused the Civil War.
Yeah, and when you mentioned earlier, Annie, I don't even want to go into it because this could be a 10-show deal if we start talking about Lincoln. Now, and when I become completely awakened, and I'm still becoming more awakened every day, when I was a child, I lived in Illinois. I grew up in Illinois, okay? And Abraham Lincoln was my hero. The library couldn't get enough books about Abraham Lincoln because I wanted to read. I had to go to Macomb, which was 20 miles away, and go to the library and then ask for books to be brought in from other libraries so that I could learn more about Lincoln. And guess what? Everything I learned it was bullshit. Okay? To make a long story short, what we thought was a hero was actually a man that was responsible for the deaths of thousands of young men on both sides of the border. And it's broken my heart because I've become disillusioned, but it has made me realize that if they could corrupt Abraham Lincoln, whose heart was in the right place when he was growing up, then they could corrupt anybody. So I get what you're saying, Annie. I really do.
Right. So the people in Michigan de jure basically assembled so that they could adjourn that congressional session where 7 southern states walked out, and you should have contacted me, little shoot. I don't know who Multi-Josie Lee is. Yeah, so they reconvened that session so they could adjourn it, and so that we could move our government forward. So we basically, when the 7 southern states walked out, they told Abe Lincoln to pound sand. They didn't want central government. They didn't want central banking. They didn't need loans. They were very prosperous. And then 2 more states walked out, and then several more followed. So it left that congressional session in a sine die, or a suspended status, which basically suspended the Constitution. And at that point, the military by Constitution have to step in because we have to keep the country running. And they did that for like 10 years. There was a lot of...
We lost her.
We lost her again. We had some killer storms up there, and I found out my bathroom's still leaking. So we had some rain last night. Yeah. So
she's back again. Ann, you back?
Guess they don't want me talking about that kind of stuff.
no, you're not the only one. We've been shut off many times before too. The more my mouth runs, the more they shut us off. So we've gone to talking about the cable guys and the recreational vehicle, and Jerry Carl says there's a book, Paragotus Box. I think it's about the bloodline Lincoln came from. Yes, there's something to that. I've been wanting to get that book and read it, but I haven't. Go ahead, Annie. We want to hear more from you.
Yeah, so and I don't have all of Abe Lincoln's story figured out. There's a lot of details. So and it's just a lot. What I could tell everybody is just have faith. And there's a lot of information and disinformation out there. It really does have to be this way because of the level of corruption and just how bad it really is. I totally understand why it has drug out so long. I get it because I was involved in it here. Until all the lawfare happened to me, and my family and my property, I would have had no idea how bad it really was. But it's getting cleaned up, and it is at the local level. My local county sheriff recently said that he was not running again. He's only a year and a half into, I think, his 4-year term or 6-year term, and he's a baddie. So this is really good news. And Governor Evers, who is a baddie, probably wearing a mask or body double, but Evers has appointed at least 6 county sheriffs just within like the last 3 weeks. 3 DAs or assistant DAs, and then 2 circuit court judges, and 1 record of deeds for Menominee County. So this is not normal for a governor, whether it's Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. This is not normal. Okay, when a governor appoints somebody, it's because maybe somebody died and they got to fill that position immediately. This is boom, 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 boom. Okay, so
yeah, we lost you, Annie. That sounds like Trump's hand is in the middle of this somewhere.
yes.
I think if you track that down, I think you're going to see Trump's hand in the middle of this somewhere.
Yes, the Michigan du jour wrote 21 requisitions. One of those 21 requisitions was for the military to approach Donald J. Trump to run against Hillary in 2016. Another requisition was to unrig the machine so that Trump would lawfully win. Another requisition was to stand up Space Force, which had really been created during or before JFK's time frame, but that has also happened. And all of the original 21 requisitions have happened. So the Michigan du jour was the only lawful body politic from 2010 until 2020. And then Alaska du jour joined in. And now Missouri, just within the last month, Missouri, and about a week and a half ago, Wisconsin joined in. So we have four out of, there's 35, I think, that are trying to assemble and get their documents together, get their people together, get your grievances done and all that. There is a procedure to follow. Like Donald Trump says many times, he wants to do everything by the book. And the Michigan du jour General Assembly is the only one that has made it all the way to The Hague and all the way to the military, and the military did all of the 21 requisitions. Trump works for we the people, and I guess like this Destropine guy who's Alaska, and we had a group of infiltrators, mostly from Michigan, one from Alaska. They were being funded by a billionaire from Florida, and I'm trying to make those connections too with my research. I'll find that guy. But they were basically being paid to go around and to infiltrate and to disrupt, delay, destroy our newly established general assemblies. And that happened to Wisconsin and at least 9 other states that I know of last summer. And then they came after me directly. And even when I was unlawfully incarcerated for the 5th time last summer, I was served bogus de facto paperwork by this group of infiltrators. I mean, it was actually laughable. And I actually needed some of that paperwork. So they sent me some law stuff that I didn't have, but it was on my previous paperwork that I had submitted for the David Lester Strait stuff, which I found out that's just a sham scam too. But at least, it woke me up and I tried it because I was desperate. I was trying to find a way out. But the dead ends are National Liberty Alliance, David Lester Strait, and any of these state national groups. You don't need it. Okay, the corporation has already been voided. Michigan du jour General Assembly sent a letter to Don I think it was, and they were happy with the work that he'd done so far for We the People.
We lost her again.
Yep, she's cutting out again. They're probably doing their best to interfere with her, especially with that storm that they got going up there.
It's every other word. Every other word.
Yeah, I'm hearing her fine until they cut her off. And yeah. Huh? Well, anyway, Annie, when she comes back on, I'll interrupt what I'm talking about. I want to thank people for sending in the donations. I'll read off their names here in just a minute. Go ahead, Annie. You're back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so Donald J. Trump received a letter from the Michigan and Alaska de jure General Assembly to void the Organic Act of 1871, which created the U.S. corporation. And I do believe that May 4th, 2020, I thought originally it was in October 2019, but it looks like May 4th, 2020 is when Trump did that. And then if you go back to the Trump capitulation tour, you'll see the requisitions play out, because everything that was in those 21 requisitions, President Trump did. And it is a military operation. We are under military law right now. So as we're watching all this stuff play out, and a lot of it is real, because I know with what I've gone through, that's real. That wasn't fake. It wasn't somebody wearing a mask pretending to be me. It was me. And I was severely abused by my county and state officials, and I will peacefully find remedy. But for the bigger picture that I focus on, is we the people have to wake up. We have to get off of the couch and put down our 30-pack of Bud Light, and we need to stand up and just figure out, connect with God. I tell people, walk outside, go take a walk, take off your shoes, and ask him what it is that you are supposed to be doing to serve him. Make that connection with source energy, with God, with Great Spirit, Great Creator, and figure out what it is that your higher purpose, so that you know what you are supposed to be doing right now in this time, right now, to free mankind. Because we can get out. We're paving our way. You know, Team Trump has the lead, and they're freaking kicking ass and taking names. I just love it. This is such an exciting time to be alive right now. And the currency, electricity, we are beings of light. We are electric. We have our own electromagnetic grid around us that deep state continues to attack with all their 5G and Wi-Fi and cell phones and anything that's smart technology. It disrupts our autoimmune system and our endocrine system and our thoughts and etc. But the good guys are winning. And the Bitcoin, which I used to think equated to adrenochrome, Bitcoin, another good guy, currencies, it basically is, it's a value of time. So with Bitcoin, it basically stops time, so they can't erase history, they can't make it up anymore, and it's that moment in time. It's totally amazing. I don't know who wrote the white paper. I suspect that it is Russell J. Gold, and I do think that he is the Postmaster General and the Commander and Chief. It's about shipping lanes and post offices, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Commerce, the Chambers of Commerce. They're all kind of in cahoots with trafficking all of us. We are all being trafficked right now. We're just
that's why none of those organizations will exist.
Right. They don't need to. If it has the word system or department or bureau, it'll go away. So our government, as you know it right now, all these secret squirrels that are running our country into the ground and destroying our lives and our livelihood and our homes and our families, all these unelected miscreants. And there's people they're good people. They're just stuck in an evil system, and they'll figure it out. And there's jobs for them too. We just got to realign ourselves. But all those, our government will shrink by probably 90%. Learn how to self-govern.
Yeah. Yep. I get it. And, most people don't realize what Trump did even before 2020. And I want to thank Jackie Lee. I want to thank Dave Urban for donations to the station. And I got some other people I need to thank. But they don't even realize, because in 2018, Donald J. Trump paid off the national debt. Now, wait a minute. How can you say that, Chance? You're so full of crap, you conspiracy theorist, you. Well, I happen to have the documents that prove it, okay? I have and if anybody wants the documents, you send Hamilton Radio a copy of the documents. You send Hamilton Radio a $25 donation tonight, and I will email you a copy of the documents that prove the national debt is paid. Okay, go to Hamilton admin at hamiltonradio.net at PayPal or Cash App $DOCG1 on Cash App. And thank you for the donations, everyone. Wow, you guys are fantastic. Annie, are you still with us?
She's still here.
Go ahead, Annie.
All right, so another good place to go. I know you guys put out a lot of truth, and God bless you for doing what you do and to have the personal courage to keep moving it forward, because people have to get the truth where it's not propagandized, or, where you're under a Clinton threat or something like that, where you can actually be free and have free speech. And I just want to thank both of you for, so I can try to get my voice back. I'm very censored to the point where they tossed me in the clink a few times to try to keep me quiet, but that didn't work either. So the Bitcoin Ben is an amazing man. He has an awesome team. The Bitcoin Ben First Cryptocurrency Club is in Sarasota, Florida. That's kind of their headquarters. But his goal is to get cryptocurrency clubs, Bitcoin Ben cryptocurrency clubs set up in every state. And I really want Wisconsin. I want to be the one for Wisconsin, but I have to get through some other investigating that I'm working on right now. So I got one more federal criminal complaint to get in, and then it should be all assembly business from here on out. But the Bitcoin Ben crypto clubs are basically basic education on the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, what it does, how it's made, how it works, how you can use it, how to set up a wallet. And I know you guys do that on your show too. It's breaking it down, because that is our freedom. This fiat system, it's dying on the vine. You're watching it wither and wilt, and it will go away. And the deep state banksters and government gangsters, they know that this is the end. It's the end. So it's coming. So just hang on, people. Once we get back to common law, or the laws of nature, the laws of our nature's God, that means that we can self-govern again. They're not going to release the funds and the money until we can get the county settled and get good people in there to self-govern. So the faster you get your 13 people together and learn what the de jure is all about, learn what your responsibilities are going to be as a jurist, the faster we can come to greatness. In all honesty, we have abundance in everything. We are not short anything. We have clean water, clean food, clean air. It's all coming. There's people that are working behind the scenes to get all of these remedies done, so that when the normies wake up, it's not going to be a huge, it still is going to be shocking. I've had many, many years to deal with the things that I know, but the good earth is being built as we speak. It's, Dr. Judy Mikowicz and Dr. David Martin. There's so many people out there that are finding the medical remedies, the Tesla technologies, the hemp, the hemp farmers and the growers and the producers, so we can have clean fabric and clean construction materials, clean clothing again. There's so many good things happening right now. And if you look around, get away from your radio and your TV and your phone, and, you know, look around and see what is happening around you. Don't let life pass you by. Live in the now.
Oh, I'm telling you, no better words were ever said on this show, except for maybe Fascinating Brian. But anyway, he's not with us. He's not with us tonight. But I want to tell you, Annie, you have been just you're a fireball. You're just a fireball, and you're a force of nature. And God bless you for it. And I do want to thank Don Alexander for a very healthy donation. I want to thank one of my dearest friends, Maria Janet, for a donation. I want to thank, where did they go? I had some others. Where'd the lady goes? Doris, for a very nice donation. And Christy Sue donated, and William Dickey donated. And thank you, guys. Thank you. You ain't gonna believe it, but this really helps. I mean, I'm going to tell you what. Okay, XRP is a home run, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you my educated opinion on XRP. XRP is a home run because it's not a decentralized currency. And even though Annie said some real good things about Bitcoin, it is a centralized currency. It's on the same level as CD, central bank digital currency, okay? It's centralized. Now, this is I've learned because I'm an idiot when it comes to crypto, but I've learned this from the guy that knows everything, okay? His name's Mark. He told me the other day, and he explained to me. Now, if Trump, in my opinion, is endorsing Bitcoin, then there's something going on, okay? Because I have been told by the White Hats from the day one, Annie, that Bitcoin is doomed to fail because it was developed as a form of payment outside of the centralized bank system to compensate people who are doing human trafficking. Okay? So, I mean, you can have your opinion on it, and I'm not going to argue with you about it, but this is just the knowledge that I have gained, which is very limited, and I will admit you know a lot more about it than I do, because I'm not an expert on anything, but I know I have a lot of knowledge, but not a little bit of everything, but a whole bunch of nothing. That's me, okay? So that's what I think about XRP, okay? And I'm going to kind of align myself with the only guy that I listen to, and that's Dave the XRP Lion, okay? And I will tell you, I can't tell you that I'm in communication with Dave the XRP Lion because I'm not. Or am I? I don't know. But I will tell you, he's hit on Dave the XRP Lion is somebody that you should be paying attention to. Okay. That's all I got to say about that. And as far as Charlie Ward and Mark Z and all them other guys, you know, you'll forget about this time next year. You'll forget about them. Okay. Karen says exactly right. XRP is the way to go, not Bitcoin. And so, you know, here's the thing. I've been inside of Trump's head with deep meditation about watching and following his executive orders and following what he's been doing. And you got to remember, there's a lot of Hollywood elites, like, I shouldn't say any names on the air, but there's a lot of Hollywood elites, and some of them are recording artists, and they got a lot of money. And guess where those assets are going back to? The Republic, we the people. They're going to be distributing them through your Reformation and Restoration. Okay? Now, since we are 15 minutes in, I'm going to ask Annie, do you have anything else you want to add? Because I'm going to give the RV news, and then we're going to get out of here. But man, you have been a pleasure to have on on the show tonight. Annie, do you have anything?
She got her mic muted.
Yeah.
There you go.
Do you have anything to add tonight?
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me come on the show. And I know it's kind of bouncing around there a little bit, but there's so much information and it's not coming out through any other channels. So there's 35 states at least that are trying to reestablish their de jure, which means lawful of our right General Assembly. I put some emails and websites for people to reach out. The info at californiadejure.org. She's basically taking over like the national level to get people linked up with their state moderators. So if I don't have your state listed there, Wisconsin, Alaska, Michigan, then just send an email to info@californiadejure.org. And she's an awesome lady. There's conferences and free classes that you can get on. All the states have education classes right now, to include Wisconsin. Ours is Tuesday nights at 6:30. With the Bitcoin Ben, there was a Bitcoin 2024 conference. Trump spoke at it. RFK Jr. spoke at it. Senator Marsha Blackburn spoke at it. A bunch of people. John Saylor, Eric Snowden. There's a lot of people that spoke at that conference. It gave me goosebumps. I haven't listened to all the speakers, but I would encourage people, always do your own research, but go back and listen to what Trump says, because he tells you exactly what he's going to do. And he said he's going to fire Gensler, who is the head of the SEC, which is a corrupt organization right now. And he repeated it twice. So I would encourage you to go and listen to his speech. Marsha Blackburn has legislation. She has a bill that is on the floor, and it will make its way. It will be approved to have 1 million or 1 billion. I can't remember. It's a one with a lot of zeros. Bitcoin as the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve and the Fed, that's been gone for a long time. And as I'm sure you've said on your show, Chance, the Federal Reserve, Trump backed it up into the U.S. Treasury. I'm sure there's a team that's been going through everyone's records so that when the RV or whatever you want to call it happens, the remedy and recourse, the number crunching has already been done, and we will have a jubilee, and it's going to be an amazing celebration. So have faith and just keep reading. If you have questions, you can get through me at the Rumble channel there. Annie's Campground at protonmail.com is my email. I do classes several times a week. I also have anniescampground.substack.com. And I encourage people to come on the call so we can talk about all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot happening in Wisconsin. I'm trying to get Wisconsin fired up more than we already are. So all things good. We got so much good coming. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. God bless you, Annie, and thanks for coming on, and we'll have you back again, okay? God, she's great, okay?
Now, great,
guys, you got to, first of all, thank you for the fantastic donations. Keep them coming. It takes a lot to keep these stations going, so keep them coming, guys. But what I want to tell you now is that until the transition is complete, okay, until the transition is completely done and the Nassar Gassar is announced, the only way you're going to get anything done in the courts is to correct your status the proper way, and that's with an express trust. If you want an express trust, email me at chancemusic@yahoo.com. They are $2,500. Okay. The difference between this and other express trusts are $5,000. Maria Janet handles the express trusts. You must make a $2,500 donation, non-refundable, and you must learn how to defend the trust. And it's all in the paperwork. There's 4 pages of paperwork. You've got to know how to quote that stuff. So if you go into court for a bankruptcy, if you go into court for a house repossession, foreclosure, anything, you have the knowledge right there in front of you, but you can't read it off the paper. You got to be able to know how to do this. Okay. You got to be, when the judge says something, you got to be able to come right back with something in the trust. And so get a hold of me at chancemusic@yahoo.com if you want an express trust. I highly recommend it. But just remember, it is not a silver bullet that you could pull out, put into your gun, and shoot the judge and the bad guys. It's not that. You have to learn how to defend it. You have to be your own superhero. So don't call me to come to court for you, because I'm not going to. Okay? My cape is out of batteries. Okay? So be your own superhero. Put on your own cape. Get yourself an express trust. And I am going to now, because I've been so inundated with Annie. Keep the donations coming, guys. And if you're watching this on a replay, this goes to you too, guys. This goes to the replay people too, okay? Because if we can get enough, thank you, firefighter. I'm okay today. My vertigo's a little crazy, but Doc and I both have our issues, but we're here, we're doing it, and we're rocking and rolling, okay? And we're keeping everything going. I am going to pull up the update. And which one is it? I think it's that one. Yes. Okay. Here we go. This was, okay, there has not been an update since Wednesday night. Okay, today's Thursday. So here it is, Wednesday nights. It was Chance. I was advised a VIP flew into Reno last night to sign off on the release. Okay. A South African contact said a group of sellers there were put on standby. Now's the time to pray for victory in getting paid out. Pray that the buyers are honorable in paying us out. Now this, I assume, is for the shotgun start, okay? I still don't see a shotgun start because it could create panic. But they've been closing enough banks in order to herd the cattle in the right direction, and that's what we are. We'll be going in. And so what I want to tell you is two things. Number one, don't go acting like a big shot. Your security, the security of your family, is the number one thing. Anybody ask you a question? Well, where'd you get the money for a new house? That would be Nanya damn business. Okay? I don't ask you what you do with your money. Why are you asking me what I do with my money? It's personal. Okay? And if you do feel like you owe somebody an explanation, then all you have to say is, well, it's a trust thing. That's all you got to say. It's a trust thing. And don't say anything besides that. Don't add to that, because that could be considered a violation of your NDA. Okay? It's a trust thing. Or you could do it the Chance way and say it's a Trump thing. You know, it's a Trump thing. Yeah. And Trump, you know, somebody's got Trump hating system. What's it called? Trump deranged syndrome. That's it. Chevron Deference recently was out of the country. Upon returning for the first time ever, was not asked to turn in custom documents. Ooh. That's huge, Dawn. I'm researching that. Oh, thank you, Overloaded. We love you too, man. And or girl or whatever you are, it's fine. It's fine with me. Hey, listen, I want you guys to know we appreciate the donations. Keep them coming, okay? Because, and if you want the RV protocol papers, I've already sent Doc some money that people have sent. I've already done it.
Thank you.
And so listen, you guys don't know what this means to Doc. Okay? Doc is the reason that I'm on the air. Okay? It's nobody else. That cricket is not on my
No,
end.
it's on my end. He just joined us, but it's God's little friend, and I can't do anything.
No.
Pretend
So
you're
you're not
outside camping. You know what?
You're not going to take a newspaper and send him to Jesus or what?
I don't know where he's at.
Oh, well, yeah, I get that. I get that once in a while.
It could be anybody near the window, and I don't know where he's at.
Well, I hadn't had any mice in my house for over a year, and then the guy upstairs, I evicted him, or actually my son evicted him. Thank you, Mickey. And my son evicted him, and then we had a mouse or two show up, but I didn't have to worry about it. Okay, you know why? Because I got 7 dogs and they're mousers. I'm not kidding. When Dottie, the beagle, come here, Dottie. Let's see if we can get up here so I can show you. Dottie the beagle. Okay, she had just come into our family about 3 years ago. Okay, she was an Amish dog living in hay and straw with the other pups. Okay, but they got big and and we bought her pre-COVID for $100, I think. She's purebred beagle. She just didn't have any papers. Okay, now follow this. So I, was a big dog, and my wife was sick, and so I was doing the training and stuff, and yeah, he's playing the world's smallest violin. Good, very good, Master Ray. Anyway, and he come up to my door in my bedroom right over here, and he come up, and he looked like he had a string wrapped around his tooth, and I go, "Oh no, what have you been tearing up? You've been tearing up a blanket or something? What's going on here?" And I go over and I grab it, and she opens her mouth, and out comes a mouse. The mouse was fully intact, but guess what? It died of a heart attack. Wow. What a mouser. Now, I'll tell you one other story about Dottie, if you like animals, okay, stories. Now, Dottie's the one that almost killed Megan, so we're keeping a real close eye on them when they come out. But when Mommy Dog had her 6 puppies, the first one that came into light was the one that passed away. She was the weakest. She was the runt. And I knew the minute I saw her go underneath that chair, I thought, oh, she's going to have pups. I said, Mickey, we got to get it. Dottie had got the puppy, held her sideways in her mouth, and brought her to me. Brought that puppy to me because she could tell that it needed more attention. Dogs don't do that kind of stuff. That's a miracle. She set the baby in my hands, and she went on, and then we got her in a box, and then she had the rest of her puppies, and it was all good. But Wisconsin and Annie, let's see, 10:00 p.m. Ask Multi Josie Lee how I can contact her, please. I don't know that name at all. I don't either. So get a hold Annie's Campground. .substack.com. That's Annie's www.anniescampground.substack substack.com www.anniescampground.substack.com. Get a hold of Annie there, okay? I have her personal email address, but I don't know. Thank you, Doc. I don't know if she wants me to give that out, but isn't she wonderful? I mean, what a blessing we are tonight, especially with Brian and Debbie not being here. I mean, holy cow, what a great show we've had tonight. I mean, Doc, if we hadn't had Annie here, you and me have been twiddling our thumbs and singing. It would have been a train wreck. But anyway, she saved us, and it's all good. If you want an express trust, get a hold of me at chancemusic@yahoo.com. It's $2,500, best $2,500 you will spend, but you got to learn how to use it. You got to learn how to defend it. It's all in the paperwork. Okay. Now, guys, Next week, I could have stupendous information. And if I have stupendous information that I can't say on the air because I will be under an NDA, if I have that information, then I won't be able to tell you, but I can do this. I can go like this, okay? I can go like this. I can go like this for 1 minute on the air. For 1 minute. When I put my thumbs up here like that, that means I've got stupendous information. And you know what the stupendous information would be, okay? When I go like that, you're going to have to be watching because I can't verbalize that. So if you're on the radio and just listen, I'll just say my thumbs are moving, my thumbs are moving, my thumbs are moving. Okay, so anyway, I hope I've been entertaining, if nothing else, and educational. God, I'm so full of myself sometimes, Doc. I don't know how I do it. You know, I really don't.
We love you.
Oh well, I love you guys. I mean, I really do. And
This
Doc,
lady,
as soon as I'm going like that, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The lady in the background is Doc G's wife. That's its queen. And listen, we all thank you for tuning in. Send the donations, please. That's Doc G's wife. She's welcome to join anytime. She's part of the family too, by golly. But listen, I love you guys. Doc G, me, Debbie. Hopefully Kent Dunn will come back. And Fascinating Brian will be back next week right here on HamiltonRadio.net. I'm Chance McFadden. You know who you are. God bless. Y'all come back now.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. God bless.